So there you go, Jesse. We need illegals to wipe our asses. It's true. The View actually needs a truckload of migrants every morning.
I found out about a bidet. It was a couple years ago on the show. That's the way to go.
Okay.
She's saying basically we need to bring in an underclass to wipe our... That's disgusting. Can we talk about the Democrats for a second?
Sure.
They're finally anti-mask, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
We finally said you got to take the mask off. They should just tell this congressman there's long COVID.
Yeah.
And they're just trying to stop the spread. So if Trantifa can put a mask on to commit crime, why can't ICE put a mask on to stop it? Because this is an option for these ICE agents.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting doxxed. Their families are getting threatened. This isn't a nationwide policy. They're doing it to protect their identities from cartel bounties. A lot of law enforcement people wear masks. DEA agents wear masks. These gang task force guys wear masks. Some of these elite military operators use masks because they don't want Al-Qaeda to know who they are. The top House Democrat says he wants to unmask ICE agents. The most popular Democrat, AOC, says she wants to abolish ICE. Walt says ICE is the Gestapo. Joe Biden accused border agents of whipping migrants on horseback, and they're wondering why they don't attract men, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wonder, maybe it's because you guys are having margaritas with MS-13 and not margaritas with ICE. Why don't they just thank ICE for protecting the community? They brought in the cartels, and now they're attacking the guys that are trying to get them out of here. No bueno.
That is Spanish.
That's no good.
Yes, thank you. You know, Dana, Jesse, makes the point that, ICE agents have a function to remove and deport illegals from the United States. After the Boulder attack, it's obviously necessary. And again, the Dems choose, in the 2080, they choose the other side.
I actually wrote, how stupid can they be? Deporting criminal illegal immigrants remains the most popular thing President Trump is doing. Out of all of them, that's the most popular thing. And the Democrats are attacking ICE, and it reminds me of their instincts on defund the police and where that led, and where it led the party, not just practically speaking and the consequences of that, but also, if you remember, during the Roe v. Wade decision at the Supreme Court, those justices were one that went after, whatever you think about the merits of it, but the guy who said he wanted to kill Brett Kavanaugh and his family and had materials in order to do that, then they were harassed. And the senators on the Democratic side would not weigh in, and the Biden administration in particular would not weigh in to help protect the justices. And so that was extremely wrong. I also feel like Hakeem Jeffries he looks like he is uninspired. He seems defeated. And I've been trying to think of what can the Democrats do to demonstrate that they are serious about making a change and making a pivot. And the media will only help you make a pivot if you make a significant move. And I'm beginning to think that Democrats will look at their polling numbers and think that maybe they need a shakeup on the leadership side.
What say you, Jessica?
I think they already think that on the Senate side.
Mm-hmm.
The House doesn't feel that way at this particular moment, and definitely, we're going to talk about it in the next block, feel that there's a big opening with the reconciliation bill to make a lot of headway against the Republicans. In terms of the masking situation, that guy who's threatening those ICE agents, throw the book at him. You can't do that. You shouldn't be attacking law enforcement. But you really can't make a cogent argument for why these people need to be wearing masks, except for the fact that, A, Trump loves a good show, which is why he has Kristi Noem wearing her little vest and posing in front of CCOT and wants it to look tough and bad. And
you can't say it's a safety issue?
I did about that specific issue there, but when you look at the statistics of who they're actually arresting, you know that they're wearing masks because they're not making good on the promises that they made to the American people of arresting criminals. 70% of the people...
They're wearing masks because they're embarrassed? Is that what you're saying, Jessica?
Yeah, I do think
How do you know that? How do you know that?
Well, I would be, if I was
That's
the ICE
mind reading,
agent...
and it's absurd.
It's
mind reading, and it's absurd.
Well, they should be ashamed of what they're doing. If you are the ICE agent that's picking up a 17-year-old kid on the way to volleyball practice who's been here since he was 5 in Massachusetts, or there was a Missouri woman who's been here for 20 years, mother of 3, going to a routine check-in that's being arrested, and You know what they're doing? They're trying to satisfy Stephen Miller. The conservative Washington Examiner, a conservative paper, has this quote out of a private meeting where Stephen Miller is screaming at agents, what do you mean you're going after criminals? Why aren't you at Home Depot? Why aren't you at 7-Eleven? They want to pick up everybody who is here illegally, which is not what he campaigned on. He said we're going to get the bad hombres and the criminals out of here. So yes, I think if you are showing up to detain a 17-year-old, that you should be wearing a mask and you should be embarrassed of what you're doing.
Well, wow. I don't think that's why they wear a mask. Again, Katie, it's always
Is it for the show,
they always
then?
say they're for the function. Oh, we're for an immigration process, but we don't like how it's done.
Right.
Oh, they shouldn't be wearing masks. Do you know that if they stopped wearing masks, you can bet they'll find something else?
Yeah. Which
Why,
means that
why is
they
he
don't
wearing
really,
a belt?
They don't really want it to happen at all, which is they're not calling for masks to be taken off of the rioters on college campuses. They were fine with masks during the summer of 2020 when we had the most expensive riots and deadly riots in the history of the country. They're fine with criminals who are just going into regular businesses in cities across the country wearing masks. But oh no, ICE agents going after hardened criminals in our cities that Democrats want to dox now aren't allowed to cover their face. And before Democrats lost their minds and started defending criminals and terrorists, years ago, decades ago, ICE agents and others in these kinds of positions were wearing masks. This is not a new phenomenon, but what is new is Democrats at the highest order of leadership in the United States Congress saying they're going to dox and find these people who voluntarily sign up to go after every single day people who are convicted murderers, who are convicted rapists, who are armed and dangerous. They voluntarily sign up for these jobs, which is the whole point. The Democrats, just like defund the police, want to sow this environment of making an intimidation. They don't want people to sign up to be ICE agents. They want to make sure that you know, if you decide to serve your country and to protect your community, that they will do everything they can to ruin your life. We've seen this happen over and over again. We saw it with Border Patrol. We've seen it with the police, until, of course, it affects their family. And then all of a sudden, they change their perspective, and they're happy to have ICE come into their community to remove these people. But until then, it's all the peasants who have to deal with the consequences of letting these criminals in the first place and then having Democrats defend them and force the American people to deal with them not being removed.
Does it matter that 70% haven't been convicted of anything?
They're illegal, Jessica.
They're here
But that-
illegally.
But
Jessica,
when
you don't want
that
to go
does
down
not-
this road.
Yes, I do. I'm
You should
so far down
apologize.
it.
It's no longer about
do
the
you-
mask.
You should apologize to the ICE agents that you just disgraced. You should apologize to them. They're not humiliated. They swore an oath to uphold the law of the country, and they're getting a lot of bad hombres out of here.
30%.
the
Bad
concept-
70%.
Jessica, you broke into the country. You're going
They
home.
didn't.
I'm
Most
sorry.
of these people came in through an asylum
so do you
process. You
think
can still be
a
here
fake
illegally and gone through a port
they're
of entry.
enforcing the law
No.
of the land. I'm sorry you don't like that, but those are the breaks.
It's this contrast. The concept of enforcement is an adult theme. Upset about masks is infantile. And this happens in every damn issue. You come at it with an adult, this is what needs to be done. Oh, but wait, what about this? Stupid. Sorry. Anyway.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.